Hello, my thought for today is our fickleness, God's faithfulness. From the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 11, we read, "Return, faithless Israel, declares the Lord. I will frown on you no longer. For I am merciful, declares the Lord. I will not be angry forever. Only acknowledge your guilt. You have rebelled against the Lord your God. You have scattered your favours to foreign gods under every spreading tree, and have not obeyed me, declares the Lord. Return, faithless people, declares the Lord, for I am your husband. I will choose you from one town and two from a clan, and bring you to Zion." Now, I watched a bit of Coronation Street recently, and I hadn't watched it for several years. And the thing I noticed more was how the characters seem to have changed partners. For example, Steve was married to Michelle last time I watched it, and now he's back with Tracy. But he also seems to have a child with Leanne, who is the child Oliver is in hospital. So those of you who watch soaps will know that I'm really out of touch. But it seems it's not so much musical chairs in the soap as musical lovers who are constantly changing. Anyway, I know it's only a soap, but the word you could use to describe the general behaviour of soap characters is fickle. The word fickle means changing frequently, especially as regards to one's loyalties and affections. And that's what Judah was like as Jeremiah addresses them with prophecy. In fact, the Message Bible, look in verse 12, uses the word fickle. At one point, the Lord describes Israel as a brazen prostitute. In other words, fickle. I heard a mum not long ago describe their 4-year-old child as fickle. But really we're all like that, aren't we? We're all fickle, changing frequently, especially in regard to our loyalties and affections. So the big thing is this: behind every sliding back from devotion to God is a heart that has been drawn to something or someone else. If we are backslidden, the appeal to us is to turn round and come back to God. It's like the prodigal son. He will be waiting for us. His love for us has not changed. The Lord God is the opposite of fickle, whatever that is, of faithfulness, true, constant, unchanging. He says, "Come back to me and I will accept you." I remember when I first went to Christchurch many years ago in 1984, the pastor there at the time used to say, when we find that we're away from God, it's not God that's moved, it's us. So in the New Living Translation, the same words I've just read are in Jeremiah are, "Return home, you wayward children, says the Lord, for I am your master. I will bring you back to the land of Israel, one from this town and two from that family, from wherever you are scattered." You know, as we learnt on Sunday evening, when we look at Proverbs, to return to God, the faithful one, is to know that true joy and peace, that shalom, which we thought about on Sunday, when we live before the constant and wise Creator. We have a God who isn't fickle. He doesn't shift like changing shadows. He can be relied on. His love to us is constant and true and faithful. And he calls us, if we find we've wandered from him, to come back like lost sheep to the great shepherd of our souls. So that's my thought for today. Fickle people, faithful God.